Welcome to A Toast to the Atypical. I'm Brit.
And I'm Dale.
And we have a cool one for you today. We are going to be talking about Pennsylvania superstitions and supernatural. So it's all going to be local lore and ghost stories and stuff that you don't always get to hear about. Drinks for the night, I have a special cherry water ice. Specifically WOODER water. It's cherry vodka, Sprite, grenadine, maraschino cherries, a squeeze of lime, and lime garnish. What do you have to drink?
I have my go-to old fashioned.
Boring.
It's boring, but it's delicious. And I have the reason that this one is Pennsylvania based is because I have a bourbon from Triple Sun Spirits.
Shout out to Triple Sun.
Shout out to Triple Sun, not sponsoring anything, but you can if you want.
Sure. We won't say no.
Yeah. Really good. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't have the video feed up.
We'll post a picture.
Yeah, I did take a picture. That'll be on the Instagram. 43% alcohol by volume.
How about that?
Yeah, what is that proof-wise?
I have no idea.
86, obviously.
Is that what it is? Still?
Yeah.
Did you just make that up?
No, I know that for a fact.
Why do you know that?
Because it says it on the label.
Okay, well, I haven't had a sip of mine yet, so cheers to our first real episode.
There you go, episode 1.
All right. Ooh, that is delicious.
Good.
That might be
the water ice. Can't go wrong with a water ice.
Water ice. The lime was weird at first, but I don't hate it. I thought it was going to be weird, but it's decent. All right, so we're going to start off with some superstitions. Philadelphia is an incredibly superstitious city, and our sports teams.
We just need something to blame our losses on.
Yeah, we need a scapegoat all the time. So we're going to talk a bit about that to lead in, and then we'll kind of branch out from there.
Yeah, so
we can get started.
Yeah,
on
so
that.
The big one, I guess, in Philly is William Penn, the Billy Penn statue. And we both have our computers here because we have our notes. But the Billy Penn statue, the local superstition is that the curse of Billy Penn lasted from 1987 to 2008. The curse was broken by our very own Philadelphia Phillies, but it's basically our explanation for why we suck in professional sports. And not only professional sports, but it actually leads over to, I don't know who comes up with these stats or who follows these things, but like Smarty Jones.
Yep.
And there's college teams and stuff. But basically there was a gentleman's agreement in Philadelphia that no building would exceed the height of the William Penn statue, which is on top of the Capitol, or the, what's it called? Oh my God, City Hall.
City Hall.
Which I guess was at one point the Capitol building, wasn't it? Wasn't Philadelphia the capital for a short period?
It was.
Yeah.
It was the first capital.
Yeah, there you go. History class. See, I paid attention.
Now it's not even the capital of the state, let alone the capital of the country. So.
Yeah. So there was a gentleman's agreement in place, and they built the One Liberty Place above it, which then brought on the curse of Billy Penn and brought on all sorts of losses. So a couple stats here. The Flyers lost 2 Stanley Cup finals in 1987 and in 1997. They lost to the Oilers in 87 in a 7-game series, and they lost, got swept by the Red Wings in 97. And even though they dominated the first 3 series of that cup run, the Phillies lost in 93 in a 6-game series. The 76ers, who always lose, sorry, any 76ers fans, I'm not a fan at all, lost in 2001 to the Lakers in 5 games. Eagles lost 3 straight NFC championship games from 2001 to 2003, and then continued to the Super Bowl in 2004 and lost to the New England Patriots. Sorry.
One other thing to add, though, the first Flyers loss in 1987 was only 2 months after One Liberty Place opened.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of how the whole superstition
yeah.
started, and people started digging into, what happened right before that
Mm-hmm.
precipitated it. So that's kind of where the superstition originated.
There's more. It goes a little deeper too, as far as like the Philly team, and this is where I was laughing at the stats, because it's like the Philly teams lose unless it's the year of a presidential inauguration, and then they have a chance of winning. It's very strange. Or if they dress up William Penn, then they're definitely going to lose.
Yeah, but you're talking about during the time
during the time of the curse.
Not since it was broken. I was going to say, because 2008 was an inaugural year.
No,
so,
but there were inaugural years that they did get championships. I think the Flyers did, and I think,
but not like the full championship, like the divisional.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, got it. I didn't know that.
And then in October of 2008, when the Phillies won the World Series, they won, and that was in June of 2007. Ironworkers, local heroes John Joyce and Dan Ginion, attached a small figurine of William Penn into the very final beam of the Comcast Tower, which is top of our skyline. And in true Philadelphia fashion, the first one they put up there was stolen.
Of course it was, because what else would happen in the city of Philadelphia?
And it was replaced shortly thereafter, and then the Phillies won.
Yep.
So
it was an awesome series. I was at Game 5. Yeah. I was at Game 5 of the 2008 World Series. It was split into 2 nights because it was absolutely frigid and snowing. My brother had just gotten like this weird knee surgery. We had standing room tickets, but because he had this big old brace on his leg, they let us sit in the handicap section. So we actually had seats, but we were the most bundled up I've ever been in October, and it was so awful. But I would do it again in a heartbeat. And then we went back again 2 days later, and I missed every day of school that week because I had to thaw out. The first half of the game was on a Monday, and I was just way too tired and cold to go to school on Tuesday. Didn't go on Tuesday. Wednesday was the second half of the game, so naturally didn't go then.
I forgot.
Thursday, Thursday just decided not to go, and then Friday was the parade, which I damn sure was not missing.
You can't miss that.
So I didn't go to school. I was in college at the time, so I could just kind of pick and choose. But I didn't go to a single minute of class that week.
Ooh.
I would do it again.
Well, you have to, especially when you get championships this infrequently.
Absolutely. And my dad had called me and was like, I have 3 tickets. And I was like, no, you don't. And I hung up on him thinking he was messing with me because I was kind of pissed.
Your dad would never mess with you.
And he did end up getting 3 tickets. It was all that the local lottery on their website would let us get was 3 maximum. And me, my dad, and CJ went.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to CJ.
So, short little detour there, but you can get back on track.
Well, that's
Speaking
all I
of
have for the
atypical
superstitions, but that's all I have for the superstition on that. I mean, it is truly we needed a scapegoat because we were so bad, and we're back at that trend. So what can we blame it on now?
I don't know.
What recently went up that we
maybe
can blame
the
it on?
second William Penn figurine is cursed.
Maybe someone stole it. Has
maybe somebody stole it again.
Someone go check on it now.
Where is John Joyce and Dan Ginion? We need them.
Go check on it. We need a guard up there.
Somebody better stand watch.
Right? So you can move on to the next one.
Yeah. So next one is a very weird, very Pennsylvania thing. Groundhog Day. So it's a North American tradition that's observed in the U.S. and Canada. So we just learned that it's not just a Pennsylvania thing. There are other parts of the U.S. that actually recognize Punxsutawney Phil, and then parts of Canada that also recognize this tradition. The earliest mention of Groundhog Day on record is in 1840, and it's held on February 2nd every year. It's derived from a Pennsylvania Dutch superstition where if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on February 2nd and sees its shadow due to clear weather, it will retreat back to its den and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. Mm-hmm. If it does not see a shadow because of cloudiness or overcast, spring is said to arrive early. Surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, Studies have found absolutely no consistent association between a shadow and the arrival of early spring.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I think it's something like 36% of the time it's correct. I mean, maybe we should stop. I mean, that might be more accurate than our meteorologist.
I was just going to say, is that more accurate?
Do I trust a rodent more than a dude that looks like a rodent?
On the sports stuff, switch your gears because you get real detail with that.
I want to know if I trust an actual rodent more than just some dude in a bow tie who looks like a rodent.
Ooh, that hurts. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep.
The ceremony for Groundhog Day is held in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And it's centered around a semi-mythical groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil. So we say
semi-mythical because this has been going on for how long now?
Yeah, since 1840. And apparently it's the same groundhog. So, like...
Looks good.
He might be a witch.
He looks good. He's a vampire. He's not a groundhog. He's a vampire. Yeah, he looks good. I'm surprised nobody's picked him off. He probably got run over by a car at some point. Is that... It's got to be true.
It's got to be.
It's got to be true.
I feel like they get flattened pretty regularly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's again, the following in it. I've read something that I didn't write it down.
Nuts.
I didn't write it down, but it's apparently like one of the most visited events.
Oh yeah. It's like people get dressed up like the Kentucky Derby. It's intense.
It's crazy. I've never been. We should do it.
No, I don't want to do that.
We should do it.
Mm-mm.
Dress up like groundhogs.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be outside on February 2nd, probably ever. So
that's very accurate.
I know.
You'll be curled up next to a fire.
Yep. Hot cocoa and a blanket.
Hot cocoa.
And that's it. That's all I need to make me happy.
Yeah.
All right.
So on to the folklore.
Yeah. In the same vein of
that's kind of it for the superstition stuff. I mean,
and these are the more those were like the more commonly known. So now we're going to get into the things that might be a bit surprising, a little bit atypical, and
so
more interesting.
Yeah, interesting to me, being the Bigfoot fan that I am. This like all of this stuff kind of follows the line of Bigfoot because it's very much.
Lore.
Sightings and lore. So the first one is there's a mythical creature that is said to live in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania. Now, I mean, I'm a pretty avid outdoorsman. I feel like I've hiked a good bit. I've never seen one of these. I actually never heard of it until we started looking some stuff up here, and I was very confused. This is called the squonk, and I'll put a picture of it up on the video here so you can see it too. But the squonk, and at first I was thinking horrific. like from the name, I was like, is this like a squirrel, skunk, like what?
Oh, see, my brain went to like Sasquatch. I was not
like thinking, a skunk ape kind of thing.
Maybe, but my I don't know. I was thinking like it was some sort of like variant of Sasquatch. I was not expecting anything that looked like that. Yeah.
So I mean, wherever the picture is on the video, but
absolutely horrific.
And that is why it's so sad all the time. So apparently, the earliest written account is
poor guy.
Yeah, I know.
I feel bad for him.
1910 in a book called "Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods." What a creepy name! But I mean, I don't think there's anything really fearsome of this. If anything.
I would be afraid of that. I don't want that thing near me.
It's afraid of everything else, including itself.
I would be afraid of that thing. That's
including itself. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even have words.
There was another written account of it in 1939 in Fearsome Critters, and they suggested that the animal lived in the desert and then migrated out of the desert into the swamps and then wound up settling in Pennsylvania.
Is that why he's so pruny? Because he's in the...
It could be. It looks kind of like what are those? Shiba Inu? Is that what the kind of dog that is?
Shar-Pei.
Shar-Pei. It looks like a Shar-Pei. A naked mole rat and a Shar-Pei.
I thought it looked like a part of the male anatomy more than anything else.
Can you elaborate?
I would rather not. If you know, you know.
So the movement apparently from like the swamps and the desert and all that is caused by all the logging that happened. Apparently it got chased out of its habitat, which whatever
that
habitat
means.
is conducive to this squonk.
He's
So-
got to have all kinds of nasty stuff between all those folds.
Oh,
You know he's infectious.
Infectious. Oh God, man, that's. It's still not worse than sheep. I would take the squonk over a sheep any day. Sheep are the most disgusting animals I've ever seen in my life. Oh, I wish they were mythical.
Did you have like a bad experience at like a
Maybe? I
petting
don't
zoo
know.
or
They
something?
just feel gross.
You seem
and
very
they're
like
always,
post-traumatic.
they're always so matted and dirty and. Ugh.
They are always dirty. I'll give you that.
They're just disgusting. They're just always looking at you too. They are.
So your
And, like,
sheep
what
are
kind
my
of-
birds.
And why do why do they poop little pellets like that?
I don't know. Because they eat nothing but grass, don't
Oh,
they?
I don't know. They creep me out. They're disgusting. I don't know. I'm getting the heebies just thinking about it.
They give you the ick.
They give me the ick. Well, so the squonk's got the ick, apparently.
Oh, poor squonk.
So they generally travel at twilight and dusk, so they say.
Well, yeah, because he's so terrible looking. He
do you know
doesn't
what-
want to.
Well, yeah, but so terrible looking. But did you do any research on this one, or was this one just me?
I did a bit, but it seemed like a lot of what I was finding was what you had already had
And
in
I like
there.
this weird shit, so.
And you seemed like you were really passionate about him, so I was
I
gonna.
feel for him.
I was gonna let you.
I feel for him.
I was gonna let you have him.
So he comes out only at night, and sometimes not even like when there's a full moon, because he doesn't want to see his reflection in puddles.
I know.
How sad is that?
I feel bad
You
for
gotta
him. Like
be
I said.
one ugly MF. Like, come on.
Yeah,
So it says that
he's super
it was-
self-conscious.
Apparently, I would be too. It describes him as having misfitting skin, which is covered with warts and moles, and he's always unhappy. I'd be unhappy too. If I was covered in warts and moles, I'd be pretty unhappy. Apparently, what you got something?
No, I
Okay.
just feel
You
really
said-
bad for
So
him.
do I. I feel like I'd give this guy a hug, even though he's.
I don't
probably
think I'd
got
touch
yeast
him.
infections and all sorts of.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit brewing in
Grossness
those
going
folds.
on.
No, thank you. I'm not touching him.
Apparently, hunters who are good at tracking him are able to follow the squonk by its tear-stained trail. How sad is that?
How do you tell the tears from just like regular rain?
Maybe it's a dry. Maybe it didn't rain.
Those are really special
They're
trackers.
special. They are very special.
Does he have like glittery tears or
The
like what are we
animal
looking at?
weeps constantly.
Because he's so sad that he's so ugly.
I agree. Look at him.
It's not even like he's so ugly. He's kind of cute. Like
Yeah.
he's just.
No. Yeah.
He
'cause there's a
literally
lot of
looks
that.
like a ball sack.
He does.
He's very scrotal
Sorry,
looking.
squonk. And
And
This is like-
there's no coming back from that. Like
this is
what do you
gets me.
do?
Well, this is
You
what
just
you
cry
do.
all the time.
Well, this is what you do. You cry all the time, and if you get into the position where you feel like it's impossible to get out of it,
Get out of what?
like a hunter coming at you,
Oh.
if somebody's trying to
I was
trap
like, what
him.
the hell?
This is why none of them have ever been caught. By the way,
Oh, there's more than one?
there's squonks.
Oh,
There's
I thought it was like
but they've
I thought it
never-
was like a singular being.
but they've
I didn't
never
realize
been-
it was like a species.
They've
of,
never
these
been
ball
caught
sacks.
because if they feel like they can't get out of a situation, they dissolve in their own tears.
Oh, that's so sad.
Right?
What kind of weird ass
Spontaneously
acid
combust.
rain tears
I
do
don't
these guys
know,
have?
man.
That poor little shit.
I agree.
Poor Squonky.
And here you
Do
go.
you want to adopt one?
I mean, if you can catch
We have
one, or even
room.
I mean,
I think all he needs is just a little love. I'm not touching him, but I'll be nice. He might be the only thing that Mayhem likes.
Mayhem's one of our dogs. By
Mayhem
the way,
hates everything and everyone. If
She's
you've been
kinda
to our
wordy.
house,
she's kind of warty.
if you've been to our house, I apologize for her behavior. It's not her fault.
She knows not what she does.
It's really not her fault. She just is awful.
So, in addition to his warts and moles, his left feet are webbed.
Only the
Only the left. So maybe that makes it easier for hunters to track him too. Is this so he can like swim through his own tears in a circle? Apparently,
I was gonna say I don't feel like he would have very straight
I don't
paths.
know.
This poor guy can't do anything right.
I the more I read about him, the more I understood. I empathized. The more I understood why he cried all the time. I would cry all the time too. All the time. Like he can't wear those like thong sandals because he's got web feet.
Yeah, they definitely don't make Vibram shoes for them.
Crocs.
Crocs would be the
A
only way to go.
squonk would rock Crocs.
And if he was like constantly trudging through tears and swampy marshland, Crocs would be the perfect thing.
This guy probably stinks. He probably stinks.
Yeah, there's no way he smells pleasant.
So the species
he looks like he would be like snotty. He looks like a big raisin.
Kind of.
Like a snotty, red, like slimy
dog
raisin.
One big wet dog nose.
Pug. He looks like a pug nose.
He's pretty gross.
Poor bastard.
So the species taxonomy of the creature
oh my god. How do you
Lacrima corpus dissolvens.
Wow.
And that's made up of the Latin tear, body, and dissolve. Because it refers to its ability to dissolve when captured.
That's impressive that they had like an actual.
Wait, why is that impressive? They have that for all real animals.
But how do they know if they've never been caught?
They've been seen.
Right, but how do you identify what it is without ever actually like catching one and testing?
I'm glad that you asked. I'm glad that you asked.
You knew I was going to ask this.
I did. Thanks for the segue. No, you can find some details
Here's your
of the squonk.
Oh, goodness.
In pop culture, so there's a Genesis song.
I know that.
I freaking love Genesis, by the way.
I mean,
but how could you not?
Phil Collins.
Yeah, how could you not?
Is God.
He might be.
He might be.
He might be.
He's looking a little worse for wear these days, though.
He is. He needs the fountain of youth.
Ponce de Leon.
So there's a Genesis song called Squonk from their 1976 album, A Trick of the Tail, and they sing about the squonk dissolving in tears.
Yeah, and it's written from the perspective of the squonk.
Right.
So, like, it's as if the squonk is actually singing the song.
Yeah.
And it's
so sad.
Heartbreaking.
So sad.
It's devastating.
So sad. Have a whiskey and listen to Squonk.
Yep. If you ever need a good cry.
Yeah. And then there's a Steely Dan song.
Because what else?
Any major dude will tell you, and that refers to the squonk as well. And the lyric that refers to the squonk is, "Have you ever seen a squonk's tears? Well, look at mine. The people on the street have all seen better times." And it compares the squonk's tears to the narrator.
He's got to be going through a tough time to compare himself to a squonk.
I agree.
He's having a really tough go of it.
Low. Personally, I've never felt that.
No, I don't know that I've ever been sad about looking like a ball sack.
I've never been squonk. I feel like that should be a more popular. Is squonk on Urban Dictionary?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like it should be. Is this? Can we fact check on the fly here? I feel
why not?
I feel like squonk should be. I don't want to know. Believe me, Urban Dictionary.
Maybe Urban Dictionary shouldn't be your source.
But that's what Urban Dictionary has to be the source. There's a squonking. Okay, that's not what no.
Don't read it out loud. I'm not looking, but I don't think you should read it out loud.
This one says that squonk is a mythical bird that is covered in warts.
What?
That's not accurate.
It looks like
if this person is from Pennsylvania, they're probably from Pittsburgh, and they don't know what they're talking about.
Yins. No, I feel like it's. I would put it in the same category as like Pumbaa.
Okay. Yeah.
He kind of looks like a warthog.
Squonkish. He probably smells squonkish. Pumbaa. So this one says squonk has no meaning. It defines everything you want. You can
no, that's John. That's John. It's not squonk. It's John. Shut up.
From Philly.
Nope.
Yeah. That's squonk John. Give me some of that squonk John.
Nope. I veto that freaking definition. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right. It's John, and it will always be John. Thank you very much.
All right. So the next one. You're taking the next one, and this is.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
So, for those of you who don't already know, here in Pennsylvania, we have our very own version of Nessie.
The Loch Ness Monster.
The Loch Ness Monster.
I'm just going to chew crunchy chips in the microphone.
We have a Bessie. So she is the Lake Erie sea serpent, also known as the Great Snake of Lake Erie, the Lake Erie Monster, and
I feel like
South
the Great Snake
Bay.
should hang out with the squonk just to make a complete set, if you know what I mean.
Twig and berries. Yeah, that... Well, I mean, they do go together. We'll get there. And South Bay Bessie. Most Bessie sightings happen in the South Bay area along the Ohio coast near the Lake Erie Islands. Mm-hmm. There have been multiple different descriptions of her throughout the years, and some people say that she has a head that's shaped like a dog, large fins. Some people have said that she has human-like arms. But the one thing that's consistent across all the sightings is that she has a snake-like body.
So she's not like a mermaid.
No, she's absolutely a sea serpent. And her body can measure anywhere from 16 to 60 feet long, depending on who you're talking to.
So it's sea serpent body. Looks like a sea serpent, face of a dog.
And maybe human arms.
So she's
and maybe
a
also
bitch.
fins.
She's a snaky bitch.
She's your ex-girlfriend. Not yours, just yours. You know. Color has been reported as gray, copper, or silver, so she seems to have some kind of a metallic-y, murky kind of...
It seems very mermaid-ish as well.
Yeah, but what mermaid have you heard of that's 16 feet long or bigger?
I mean, I personally haven't met any mermaids.
I haven't either.
Mm.
Would like to.
It's unfortunate. Ariel,
Anyway.
where are you?
So, cryptozoologists believe that lake monsters are surviving relatives of the plesiosaur dinosaur, which was a huge marine reptile with a long neck that supposedly went extinct. But, I mean, Bessie is potentially living proof, so maybe they're not extinct.
That's where we need to focus our research. Like, this is where people need to focus their research
What,
on stuff
in
like
lakes?
this. Just in general, like on this stuff. Like,
Listen,
this is what we need
I'm
to
just saying, there are depths of the ocean that are, like, uninhabitable to us.
Mm-hmm.
I am terrified of what is lurking down there. I'm interested as hell, but I'm terrified.
That's one of there's a name for that. Like the
Being
fear
afraid?
of the deep.
Oh, I know.
The fear. I forget what it is.
I don't like when I can't see my feet. It
I can't see my feet right now.
No,
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I know. When you're
It's-
just
If I'm like
water and
floating
you
in
can't
like an inner
feel the
tube,
bottom.
even
or
if I'm
feel-
in a pool and I'm in an inner tube and I can't see my feet, it freaks me out.
I don't care
have
if I can't see my feet.
No,
if
I need to
can't
be
feel
able
the
to.
bottom.
That doesn't bother me as much because
That bothers me.
well, I can
Even if
feel
I
the
see my
bottom,
feet
but
and
like
I can't feel the bottom. No.
I don't know. No, if I can see my feet, I'm cool.
But you can't see what's under your feet.
I don't
That's
need
the
to.
creepy part.
Yeah, but if you can see your feet and you can feel the bottom, who the hell knows what you're stepping on?
I'd rather step on a dirty needle than get attacked by the megalodon.
That's a different episode.
True.
Spoilers, damn it. Anyway, so there were two women in the 1980s who spotted Bessie. One, Teresa Kovac, was a woman from Akron who described the creature as reptilian and snake-like with big flippers, much like old pictures of the plesiosaur. According to Teresa, the creature was so large that it could have easily capsized a boat, and it seemed to be playing in the water. So lucky for her and her friend, Bessie was more interested in a day at the beach than she was at attacking
Catching
them.
a tan.
Yeah, and no boats were overturned that day in their presence, but apparently she could have easily done
But
it
she
if
looked
she
like the
wanted
kind of
salty bitch that
salty
could.
bitch that would want to overturn a boat.
She has become such a sensation that there are several references to her in pop culture now. So she has inspired the name of a hockey team. There's a Lake Erie Monsters, which their logo is this like sea dragon head looking thing. Pretty cool. Great Lakes Brewing Company has a beer named after her.
Great company, by the way.
And she has roadside sculptures that have been erected in her honor.
That's cool.
And she's even appeared in children's cartoons. One that we would recognize, Cat Dog. Which I don't remember that episode, but I might have to go back and see if I can find it now.
Alone in the world with a little cat dog.
Yep. Cat Dog was pretty creepy in and of himself, so I'd be interested to see what
A mythical creature
Bessie
in himself.
tied in there. Yeah.
Bessie, it seems very much like I'm curious. I don't know when Loch Ness Monster sightings were brought about, because that's not what the focus of this was. But
No, because we're not in Scotland.
what year was this one?
I couldn't find like an original, first sighting definitive date, but this particular one that I referenced was in the 1980s.
Okay.
Teresa Kovac was her name.
Okay. So there was a sighting of Loch Ness in 1933.
I was going to say, I thought it was earlier in the 20th century.
But the first sighting was... I did know this from Casey's Loch Ness book. The first sighting was
Shout out
August
Ian and
22nd, 564 CE. Like forever ago.
This might
By
be a stupid
Saint
question.
Columba.
What is CE?
I don't know. But that's what
Well,
it says.
Is that BC? CE?
Maybe. I don't know. It's Columba.
Oh, wait.
Columba.
CE is current era.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's AD.
Yeah,
Okay.
all
So,
right.
okay. All right. I wouldn't have known that.
And
I was going
apparently
to say that seems like a metric system.
St. Columba saw that. So I do remember that actually from Casey's book. I learned something from that. Thank you, Suzanne and Ian, for giving that to him.
With his little Nessie stuff.
Which he loves,
He loves.
How's your drink coming over there?
Good.
Okay.
Why, you needing another?
I'm getting a little low. I think we're
both about
take a little
halfway.
break, and we could come back if we want to. But let's go over this one. This one's just going to take a little bit.
That's fine. Yeah, whatever you
Okay.
want to do, and then we can press pause and mix another round.
Oh, what happened to that one? Oh, okay, that got jumbled in the middle there. This one got jumbled in the middle. All right, sorry, we're digging through notes here. This one's you too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, so I'll jump to this guy.
Okay.
Pennsylvania's very own Bigfoot.
Not really Bigfoot.
Not really
though.
Bigfoot, but it's
kinda small
lure
foot.
just like, yeah, kind of Littlefoot, Smallfoot. What's the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Great movie. So
Cute.
Pennsylvania has the ape boy
Yes.
of Chester.
Because
So the
where
legend,
else?
right? The legend says
would be.
that back in the pre-Revolutionary War days, kids were still assholes at that point and bullied other kids.
They're still assholes now and bully each other.
So
kids suck.
they do. They're
Love
great,
them.
but they're the worst.
Love them, but they're the worst.
So this one kid who was apparently like squonk ugly
These poor bastards,
got
man.
made fun of. He was a ginger, so he obviously had no soul either, which might explain why this happened so far back and we still see him today. I mean, this happened in 1775, somewhere around there.
1735.
1730. Oh, right, 1735. You see that?
Oh, nope. I'm sorry. That was the Jersey Devil
Yep,
date.
that's the Jersey. Well, we're getting there. Don't jump ahead.
Sorry. I
right.
got my dates mixed up, babe.
So, yeah, it was just before the Revolutionary War, 1770s, let's just say. So this kid got bullied. He had enough of it and decided that he was just going to run away and live in the woods, which were the swamps. I think they were called the Tinicum swamps.
Yes.
At that point. And so basically the swamps around the Delaware River where the Commodore Barry Bridge goes over to Jersey. And there's still a little bit of the swamps alive now in the John Hines National Wildlife Refuge, which I think is actually where they filmed the Gerard Butler movie.
That's not helpful.
The one where he's in prison, Law Abiding Citizen.
Law Abiding Citizen.
The brother's
Another
favorite
shout out to CJ.
movie. I think that's where they shot one of the scenes in that one.
I don't know anybody who loves a movie
I
quite
know.
as much as
I
CJ
know.
loves that one.
So the area currently has the Philly airport, a soccer stadium, casino, bunch of industrial complexes, things like that. So apparently the children were so cruel to this boy because he was tall, lanky, redheaded, uglier than all hell.
I heard a comparison between Gollum from Lord of the Rings and Chewbacca.
Okay.
But-
Like a combination of them?
Yes.
Okay.
They said that that's what he looked like.
That's brutal.
Can you imagine?
hairy... No. I'd be weeping right next to Squonk
Right?
if I were him. But
Maybe they're out there together.
maybe they
Maybe
are.
they
So-
found
you
camaraderie
can get
in each
so.
other.
Let me get there. All
All
right.
right.
Let
I'm
me get
sorry
there.
I didn't read your stuff. I'm not,
So, yeah.
not intentionally.
Apparently, he may have given Squonk a run for his money with how ugly he was. But he fled into the swamp, gradually became more and more animal-like, living off the land.
Naturally.
Naturally.
He's our own Pennsylvania version of Mowgli.
Grew reddish. grew reddish hair all over his body. The kicker, I mean, he never like hurt anybody apparently, or like he's just kind of seen
He's not vengeful.
around.
He's just
No,
really sad.
he just like he avoids people because he had such a bad experience with these other kids.
I mean, I would avoid people. I do avoid people.
I know.
but-
I feel that. I feel that. I mean,
I
maybe I wanna meet this
voluntarily
guy.
avoid people right now, and I haven't been made fun of to that extent.
Yeah,
So
I have, but I don't run into.
No, you
all the
haven't.
neighborhoods. No, I haven't.
stop.
Except for my own wife. Help me, please.
Blink twice if you need help.
So you lived an unnaturally long life because this happened pre-Revolutionary War, so 1770s, and we're still seeing him now today. People still see him. So my theory is in 1735, not long before this, is when the Jersey Devil was born. The Jersey Devil, as you know, is living a very long, unnatural life as well. I'm not going to get too much into Jersey because the New Jersey Devils hockey team sucks anyway. But Jersey Devil, born 1735, unnatural life. He's like some sort of demon human. He was cursed, so maybe he befriended this ape boy and like gave him some unnatural abilities.
Maybe his heart went out to him.
Maybe.
Realized that it wasn't really his fault, just like it wasn't really the devil's fault.
Exactly.
The devil's mom was to blame for cursing him.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole episode on that stuff too. But yeah, she.
Wasn't the Jersey Devil the inspiration for Jeepers Creepers?
Yes, he is. Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, so he the 17 real quick because it's in my notes. 1735, Mary Leeds had 13 kids. This was her 13th kid.
Honest to God, the shit of my nightmares. 13th
kid. It was the shit of her nightmares too.
Obviously. And he became everybody else's nightmare as a result.
Right. She was just so fed up with pushing babies out that she cursed the kid.
Yeah, this one in particular gave her a really tough time.
And then this
during
kid
labor.
became like a demon.
But also, like, how can you voluntarily do that 13 times? With, like, the damn sure wasn't an epidural in 1735.
Oh my God.
Also, like,
at some
point 13,
they just kind of fall out.
Well, so that was what I was going to say. After you have 13 kids, like, how are you still struggling that much to get them out? Like, I don't know. It can't be
There's
that
not much
hard.
pushing involved at that
right?
point.
Like, you probably just sneeze in it and whew,
that's
like a slip and slide.
Oh my God. That's terrible. That's terrible.
I don't know. I will say my second labor was much less pleasant than my first labor. So, I don't know. There might be some truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I know? I'm definitely not having 13 fucking kids, though. So.
No.
No, thank you.
Do you want to jump up to your girl?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. Apparently, I'm just going to get all the swamp monsters. So.
She's cute, I think.
And she's also, this is another Lake Erie monster. So, this lovely little lady is the storm hag of Erie. So, the Great Lakes in general are known for their like very random, intense storms that seem to just sort of pop up out of nowhere. There's no real explanation for how they're gonna pop up or how intense they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And for centuries, sailors on Lake Erie have blamed these occurrences on the storm hag. She has been described as a hideous demon that lives beneath the lake.
I think she's kind of good looking.
There's
a picture of her, by the way.
She kind of looks like if the chick from The Ring and one of the Gorillaz band members had a baby.
You know what? When I first saw this picture, you know the first person I thought of?
I don't know.
Cruella DeVille.
No.
She looks exactly like
No,
I'm putting her side by side up on the screen right now.
Absolutely not.
Her and Cruella DeVille.
I'm telling you. The cartoon band.
Not Emma Stone, Cruella DeVille.
The cartoon band, the Gorillaz.
Yeah. Yes.
And the chick from The Ring. That's what I'm going with. That's
Never watched The Ring, so.
Anywho, she apparently sings a quiet song to...
Yeah, listen to these lyrics.
Yeah. Before she rises from the waves, spitting lightning and conjuring up the kinds of storms that can swallow a ship and its crew whole.
Mm-hmm.
She has bright glowing yellow eyes, and her skin is a sickly pale green. Her teeth are sharp and pointed like a shark's,
Mm-hmm.
and are said to be a deep moss green color. So she's also referred to as Jenny Green Teeth.
Jenny Green Teeth. I feel like
Now,
Jenny
where
Green
Jenny
Teeth lives in
came-
Kensington.
Jenny came from. Jenny seems a little bit too modern for what I would imagine the
Jenny.
storm hag to be, but that's okay. The ends of her arms contain talon-like claws that are dripping with venom.
Ooh, cutie.
Now, I thought venom was only like from, like I didn't think
That Eminem
like,
song?
No.
Oh.
That's a good song though. I thought venom, I didn't think claws could have venom. I thought that was only like something that would come from like a gland, like your teeth. Like,
I don't know. Maybe she's got glands in her hands. I don't know.
I mean, there's like sweat glands and
So
stuff
maybe that's
all
the thing.
over.
Maybe she
but,
licks her fingers with her slimy, nasty tongue and then stabs you with
so
them.
what, like a scorpion, what does its tail have? Is that venom?
Venom is injected. Poison is ingested, I think, is the way it goes.
All right. Anyway.
Damn, listen to me.
So her claws drip with venom, and it is said that one touch of her claw is enough to kill a man instantly. So the song that she sings is
Can you sing it?
absolutely terrifying.
Can you sing it
No,
for us?
nobody wants to hear that.
So wait, no. Can
We're gonna lose
I talk about the
listeners.
lyrics?
You, if you must.
So, all right. So the lyrics are, "Come into the water, love, dance beneath the waves."
I thought you were going to sing it.
No. "Where dwell the bones of sailor lads inside my saffron caves." First off, I don't want to see this bitch's caves.
I'm not interested in a saffron cave. Thank you very much.
Secondly, though, the legend is that she lures the sailors in.
That's my thought too.
If
This does
I
not
heard
seem
some crazy crackhead woman like this saying, "Come into the water, dance with the
Listen.
waves, draw with the bones."
I'm just saying,
Get out of here.
girlfriend's got meth mouth.
Get
Bad.
out. I'm telling you, she's from Kensington.
Stop. Anyway, when I first read it before I saw the lyrics, I was thinking more along the lines of like a siren.
Yeah, okay.
Like how they would sing this beautiful tune,
Right,
and it
right.
was like you would get hypnotized by the music, and it was, her eyes were this glowing, and people were drawn to it almost like a mirage, and that was what I expected her to be.
Mhm.
So I feel like the description of how she lures her prey versus like what she looks like just don't go together, because
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't get that close if somebody was saying like, "Oh, I've killed others of your kind.
Mhm.
Come see what I got to offer you." It's terrifying.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
she is a vicious looking thing.
Yep.
And also the two different color eyes and that weird like sunken in nose thing.
She's creepy.
Yeah.
All
She
right,
looks
we can
like
take that picture down because
she looks like
nasty.
maybe one of the
I'm telling you, the first thing I thought was
boaters like
Cruella de
smacked
Vil.
her with an oar. No.
She definitely, for me, that's what I saw. All right, I think we need to take a break because we both need drinks.
Let's do it.
Are we back?
Yeah.
All right,
We're back.
we're
It's
back.
another round.
Another round. Yeah, there you go. Another round. Did I swizzle it?
You did. I handed it to
swizzled
you.
it. I'm going
You
to
did.
swizzle it again.
Can you stop saying that?
Swizzle. Swizzle. Oh shit!
I thought it was
I almost
just me.
pulled a U.
Oh, at least mine was a can and not a glass.
Ooh, it's good. It's good. Thank you.
Right, great. Also, shout out to Brian and Christine for the cool coaster.
Yes.
I
Thank
felt like I had to use the Friday the 13th wedding coaster in our first official
I forgot
episode
about
of
that.
the
There's
Toast
another
to
one
the
over there,
Atypical.
right?
There is. Would
I
you
need-
like one?
Yeah, switch over.
There you go. So,
And we're back. Just kidding.
slight,
Hold on, let me finish my
slight
chip.
segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shove a chip in your mouth when it's your turn to talk,
I
Dodo.
told you this is the podcast where we chew crunchy shit in your ear the whole time. I did
It's
it
like
in the
whatever
intro,
the
I'm gonna do
opposite
it
of
again.
ASMR is,
Yeah.
that's what we are.
Next time, me and Jenny Green Teeth are gonna chew on some pork rinds in
And
your
this,
ear.
you'll have to listen to the sounds of the
Yep.
squonks, snotty tears. This soundtrack you poor bastards have to deal with from
Mhm.
us.
All right, so
We'll provide links to the two squonk songs
Yes. Yeah.
in
Do
the
that.
description as well. So you'll get to hear
For sure.
the cool one from Genesis, which is like an entire.
Because it's Genesis. It's cool. I actually didn't listen to the Steely Dan one, though.
I know the song just
Okay.
from whatever, but I don't know that I realized the line.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of knew the song just from the beat of it, but it's a quick kind of fleeting thing where the Genesis one is an entire song.
Right.
So,
Right. And I would expect Phil Collins to have a whole song about something
obviously,
like that.
what else would Phil Collins
Because he
do?
can do it.
Although
He can do it.
I don't think the Squonk song was sung by Phil Collins.
No,
if I'm not
it wasn't.
mistaken,
It
I
was
think it was Peter
Peter
Gabriel.
Yeah.
But I'd have to double check.
Yeah, it was. Confirmed.
But yeah, if anybody else has any cool Squonk references.
Or Squonk sightings.
Or 8-Boy, or...
Did you ever sight a Squonk? Have you seen a
the
Squonk?
Storm Hag, or anybody else.
Please
Reach out to us.
Please reach out.
We would love
Yes.
some follow-up information.
So we're going to jump over to Pennsylvania's werewolves.
Yes.
We have werewolves in PA. Or had, I don't know.
We have.
We
definitely have.
So in the 1940s, a lot of weird stuff happened in the 1940s, first off.
I mean,
It was what?
people were bored AF
there was
for like a very long time.
The looming World War, right?
Yeah.
Because Pearl Harbor was what?
41.
41. Okay. So in the 1940s, there were sightings of a monster in the Cook Forest, which is located in Clarion, Pennsylvania. I mean, it kind of spreads all over, but beautiful spot to hike, by the way. I don't know if you can see a squonk there. I've never seen one. But so the monster became known originally as the Clarion, what is it? Pretty stupid name.
Like the candy bar, whatchamacallit?
The Clarion, whatchamacallit, yeah. Because no one ever got a good look at it. It would just be like a fleeting, furry thing.
It's like the scene in Toy Story when they're like using the walkie-talkies at the party and he's like,
Yeah.
it's a what? What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. It's Woody freaking the hell out.
No one ever got a good look at it. It was described as hairy and very quick. Disappeared into the trees. No, Jersey Devil wasn't hairy, but the 8-Boy is. So
Jersey
maybe
Devil's hairy?
The Jersey Devil is not. Have you seen Jeepers Creepers?
No, but I'm pretty sure
Jersey
I've seen
Devil's
the
not
Jersey
hairy.
Devil.
He's a big bat, basically. Bats are hairy too, I guess.
Bats are mammals. They're hairy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jersey Devil's hairy.
So
we'll
like
have to dig
Midnight
into that one.
Mass level bat looking thing?
Ooh,
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, you want to be a little freaked out.
Creepy.
Midnight Mass.
It's a cool.
Mike Flanagan does it again.
Yeah, it's
Very
a
cool.
very, very cool take on biblical
Lore.
lore.
Lore is really the best
yeah.
word for what goes on in there. Because there's
It's
a lot
really
of,
cool.
there's biblical references, there's a lot of like church themes.
I wonder if
There's
Corn
also
Syrup has
like
done anything on that yet.
afterlife stuff, but then there's also some pop culture-y stuff and twists in there that are really interesting. So if you haven't already watched it, it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
I'm sure it is.
Mike Flanagan, the creator of Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and cannot wait for the Poe one to come out.
Yeah, the
That's so excited.
House
They
of
just-
Usher, the
Fall of the House of Usher.
yeah.
Just finished shooting, and they're in post-production now.
Yeah.
So can't wait for that.
I don't know,
but
if,
Mike Flanagan is
and I don't know. So there's an awesome podcast called Corn Syrup. My buddy Tyler does it, and I don't know if they talked about Midnight Mass yet.
We'll have to check it out, see if they have an episode and listen to it. If you haven't already, we would love to hear your take on it, Tyler.
Yeah. All right, so getting back to our werewolves.
Yeah, let's
Here we go.
veer back on track here.
Legend says that this very quick, hairy thing might be a werewolf.
Or the Jersey Devil.
Or the Jersey Devil has been seen in Pennsylvania.
I know.
So.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
He
a lot
got
of
stuck
these
in one of
things.
the roundabouts in Jersey. He was like, how the fuck do
How do I make a left?
Just trying to get to the beach, goddammit.
What are these goddamn jug handles?
Henry Shoemaker, who is a shoemaker, I don't know, Clinton County folklorist, wrote in an article for a magazine in the early 50s, stating that werewolves might actually come from Northumberland County to visit a grave of someone in Clarion, and the grave belonged to Elizabeth Paul. So Elizabeth Paul was an actual confirmed real person. Her family's found on like property records and deeds and things like that. So she lived in the Pennsylvania wilds on a farm in Northumberland County. So all of this happens around 1830. She was born in 1811, so she's like 19, 20 years old when all this is happening. But basically, she was dating this much older man. Her family wasn't real happy about it. And she would meet up with him at night and sit on this fallen log and watch over the family's flock of sheep. And the family didn't like it, but because she was in the company of a man, they felt like their sheep were actually being watched over. And they never got attacked by
We all know they were being supervised way more by her than by him.
Oh, God, yeah. He was probably distracted by
putting that out there. Boobs.
I don't know.
Boobs. He was distracted by boobs. And if he's anything like you, he was terrified of the sheep. So
True. I would not be out there.
He was not there helping her with the sheep.
Helping her with something.
He was trying to help himself. Thank you very much. He was not at all interested in watching the damn. All right. He was like 3 times her age.
He was. So that's a little.
He was not interested in the sheep.
It's a little creepy, but
a little.
So the family didn't like it, but they felt like their flock of sheep was being watched over, so they wouldn't get attacked by these wolves. So apparently, the wolf attacks on sheep at this point were pretty prevalent, and people were losing their flocks of sheep, losing their income. So it was a problem, and farmers were actually offering rewards for the heads of wolves because they knew that they could lose their flock of sheep. So the reward at that point was $25, which is
like a hefty chunk of change.
It's about $800 today. Like that's a pretty good chunk. Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk. So one night, a local man shot a wolf to collect a reward, and he said that the wolf was bigger than usual and more old looking. So he shot it, wounded it, it staggered off into the forest. He didn't want to go looking for it in the middle of the night, so he waited till the morning. So he followed the blood in the morning. When he got to the end of the blood trail, he found the body of Elizabeth's old boyfriend, not the wolf that he thought he shot. So...
Or maybe the wolf he thought he shot.
So apparently he noticed that the teeth of this man were elongated like that of a dog. He had stiff hairs on the undersides of his hands and the soles of his feet.
Ew!
Yeah, hairy dude, right?
Even dogs don't have hair like that.
I don't know. Maybe wolves do.
No, they don't.
So he was buried where he fell and where he died. And even though he was dead, it said that the Elizabeth's family's flock of sheep were never actually attacked. And that's due to some respect of the local wolf pack for the werewolf that was previously protecting the flock of sheep.
But why was a werewolf protecting a flock of sheep?
Because werewolves I feel like that's
are like the opposite of what they're supposed to do.
They're just well, no. I mean, werewolves I think prey on people, right?
Werewolves what?
Prey on people.
Oh, I don't know. I thought they just ate anything they could.
I mean, well, yeah, but I guess if
so, does that make a werewolf a cannibal?
I guess. I don't know.
Episode 2.
So there's not much behind that, but that's where
interesting.
Yeah, that's where we're at with that one. But on the flip side of werewolves, you have a story about witches, right?
I do. So we are going to talk about John Myers, the witch killer of Warren.
Any relation to Michael?
I don't know. Maybe that's his middle name. If he went by John Michael. John Jacob
Jingleheimer Schmidt? Was it him?
Anywho, John Myers is the witch killer, or was the witch killer of Warren County, or maybe still is. Who knows? Anyhow, Warren County, Pennsylvania, in the 1800s, was largely unsettled and wild. And it's an area in Allegheny and Lycoming counties.
Okay.
John Myers was from the West Spring Creek area, which is south of present-day Route 6 in that region. He was described as a tough guy, a settler of the woods, and he was said to have been able to drive the witches out and, quote, kill them dead. According to Arch Bristow, who is the author, M-E-M, apostrophe E-M, dead, in quote, direct quote, from Arch Bristow, who was the author of the Old Time Tales of Warren County.
Okay.
So, legend has it that the locals would request Myers' help if they felt like they were being targeted by a witch in the region. And his fee would vary. Sometimes it was 50 cents. Sometimes he would barter for farm animals or musical instruments or some type of payment depending on what the family status was and how much they needed. So it was said that he would work with them in whatever capacity and come to a good agreement. So after payment was agreed upon, he would have the person who was being persecuted stand in front of a wall, and he would pin a large sheet of paper behind them. He'd turn off all the lights, and they would just be lit by candlelight. It was very explicit. He had this very specific method, and everything had to be done in the exact sequence, in the exact order, and like to the T, or he said it wouldn't work. So turn off all the lights, light the room by candlelight, large sheet of paper, and he would have them stand in front of it. So then he would trace their silhouette from the shadows from the candlelight onto this sheet of paper behind them. He'd take it down, cut it out, take it outside and pin it to a piece of pine wood. Very explicitly pine wood.
Okay.
And then he would shoot it with a silver bullet, which he would then later dig out of the wood and retrieve for later use, being the resourceful gentleman that he was.
Saving money, I like it.
So Myers is said to have died in about 1821, still living in Warren County at the time of his death.
Okay.
So according to local records, however, there is no report of any obituaries, wills, or marked graves for anyone of that name in that area with the corresponding dates. So the question is, was it an alias? Is he not actually dead?
I thought you were going to say, was
he Michael
alien?
Myers?
I thought you were going to say, was he an alien? I was like, whoa, this took a turn.
No, was that an alias that he used? Because like John Myers, I mean, you may as well be John Doe or John Smith. Like, that was an incredibly common name. So the question is, you know, did he just die and not really leave much of a paper trail? Because like it seemed like this was really the primary business he was running. He was making his money off of this, getting, you know, guitars and freaking.
So this was 1800s
and stuff. 1821 is when he's said to have died.
Okay. Wow.
So I mean, maybe he's still out there in the woods protecting the good people of Warren County.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. So, John Myers, thank you for
your service.
Doing the good work.
Thanks for getting them dead, killing them dead.
Kill them dead. Lure them out and kill them dead.
So the Salem witch trials were like well before that, though, weren't they? They were like 16 something.
But I would think that just like travel wise between Massachusetts and here would be.
No, yeah, I just was thinking like maybe there was like a theme going on there. But
no, I mean, people thought that every woman was a witch back in the day.
I mean,
some of them still
aren't they? Aren't they?
Some of them, sure. We
the W is silent, and it was replaced with another letter. I think these days, at least, like the bitch hag. No, it was the sea monster one, right? What? We just talked about the salty bitch. The salty bitch. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about this one.
Yes.
Because you haven't done any research on this.
No,
this is
going to be.
I wanted to do some research on.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia experiment. Okay. So some of you may know what it is. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may have seen the god-awful movies that have been put out about it.
I'm interested in this now.
It's been the subject of many movies and books, but in 1984, the original The Philadelphia Experiment movie was out. Got a solid 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's actually
40% for the audience
That's
rating.
actually not terrible. Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Pretty
then
miserable.
there was a made for TV movie. There was another movie, The Philadelphia Experiment 2 in 1993. Didn't even get a rating on
They
Rotten
made a
Tomatoes.
sequel?
I don't know why.
What in the heck?
And then
That's
there was a
like
made-for-TV.
like Sharknado.
Yeah, and then there was a
Why
made for
bother?
TV movie in 2012, which I thought I wrote it on here, but that actually got like a pretty decent rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think Philadelphia Experiment, made for TV. Maybe it was a '93 one. You looking that up?
Yeah.
Okay. Very quickly.
2012 film?
Yeah. So there's three. I already got the 1984
Science fiction TV movie.
Of course, it's science fiction.
2012
I want you to believe.
film. It's got 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Solid. Don't worry about it. It's fine. 'Cause it's the topic is great.
It's not important to what we're talking about, but just so you get an idea that there are multiple, if you choose to watch any of these, there are multiple options out there. Some
better than others.
Performed better than others.
So the rumor is that a U.S. Navy destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge, was subject of a scientific cloaking experiment. So they were trying to make the ship invisible.
I was going to say cloaking.
Radar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So October 28th, 1943 is where we're at.
Okay.
Again, I told you, weird shit happened in the 40s. But, so the U.S. Navy attempted to render the USS Eldridge invisible with really bizarre, strange results. So the first story of this didn't surface until almost a decade later in 1955.
Okay.
An ex-merchant mariner named Carl Allen sent a book of handwritten notes referring to the experiment to a U.S. Navy research organization. His account was widely understood as a hoax.
I mean,
which that's neither here nor there, but I feel like a lot of it's brushed under the table. Like if there's stuff that happens, it's brushed under the table as a hoax. And maybe it's proven.
Well,
I don't know.
If anybody's a little too aware of.
Right. So maybe it's proven.
Woke,
I don't know. But
people get pissed.
So the Navy maintains that no such experiment is ever conducted, and that the physics of the experiment didn't even exist.
We don't believe you.
Side note to this. So this happened October of 43.
Okay.
January of 43 is when Nikola Tesla died.
But did he?
And he was apparently found a way to travel through time.
Supposedly, yeah.
So so basically what I'm getting at is the government got access to all of his research when he died.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
So every experiment that he had...
Because he didn't have a whole ton of family, right? Like he didn't have like an estate that his stuff went to. So it all just went into
it went straight to the government.
Okay.
And funnily enough, John G. Trump. Funnily, is that a word?
It is, but it shouldn't be.
It's a bad word. John G. Trump, the
relation
uncle.
It's like great uncle something or distant.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Is the engineer that went in and investigated Tesla's findings and experiments to see if anything. They basically sent him in. The government sent him in to see if anything, if it got into the wrong hands, would be a problem to the United States. But they got access to all of Tesla's information. It's deep.
Yeah,
it's deep.
I'm gonna need a minute.
I feel like we're gonna need a whole episode actually on the John G. Trump thing.
Yeah.
And Tesla in general. But so basically,
I was gonna say I feel like I could talk about Tesla all day.
So witnesses of the event, and yes, there were witnesses, describe a greenish, bluish glow surrounding the hull of the ship, and then it suddenly disappeared.
Oh my God.
The ship at that time of disappearing was said to be seen. Now this is in the Philadelphia Naval Yard that this experiment happened, which is why we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
The ship was apparently, after it disappeared, was seen at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Virginia.
Virginia?
Yes. For a few minutes, and then it disappeared from Virginia and appeared back in Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
So apparently, and this is why I wanted you to not look at this stuff. So apparently,
that's crazy.
Classified military documents report that the crew were affected in weird ways, and this is what the movie.
Well, yeah, because you can't just split second teleport and expect that you're going to be normal.
So had this actually happened and worked, like this would be an incredible weapon, which is why the Navy was looking into it.
Like the best version of camouflage ever.
Right. So, but even just be able to teleport into a spot, launch off a bomb, teleport back.
Right.
Like, boom, you're done.
That's what I mean. Like, it would be the best version of camouflage you could ever think of.
So, some
also, like,
super
I would
disturbing
fuck
stuff.
with people so bad.
Super disturbing stuff happened to the people on board the ship.
The crew, okay.
Some of them went insane. Whatever. We're all going insane.
Everybody does.
Some developed mysterious illnesses and died.
How
Others,
mysterious. When was this again?
This was 43.
43. Okay.
Others were said to have been fused together with the ship.
What?
Still alive.
No.
Like,
how?
The wrinkle in their time travel fused them into the hull of the ship with their limbs sealed into the metal.
That's honest to God. Like when the gravitron grows too fast, that's what I get nervous about. So I'm just going to be like stuck to it. That's terrifying.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So this Carl Allen, who brought this all to light
name sounds
55,
super familiar,
sent the information that he had to Morris Jessup, who was the author of a book, The Case for the UFO. So this guy was like into he was into all this stuff. Jessup included text from the Philadelphia experiment he included text about the unified field theory. So it's from the 1950s and it's never been proven, but it's basically an attempt to merge the theory of relativity with electromagnetism. Okay. So Allen claimed to have been taught by Einstein himself.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Because the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
And then Jessup was apparently contacted by the Office of Naval Research because they received a package containing an annotated copy of Jessup's book, and the annotations claimed that the U.S. government had access to extraterrestrial tech.
Because they do.
Which allowed them to make breakthroughs in the unified field theory, and that's how they essentially moved this ship. So, of course, the U.S. response is that...
No, we don't. You guys are crazy.
They were both dry. The Eldridge and the Angstrom, which was another destroyer escort, were both dry docked in Philadelphia and did have classified devices on board. So they're giving us a little that, okay, yeah, there was something classified, but it was not an invisibility cloak or teleportation device. Instead, they were just finding a way to scramble magnetic signatures of ships so they couldn't be seen by radar for torpedo attacks. And then they chalked up the fact of the green glow that people apparently saw to be an electric storm or St. Elmo's fire. Maybe it was Jenny Greenteeth licking the bottom of the boat. Told you, she's
maybe her spitting lightning fused the people to the boat.
There it is. Solved.
Full circle moment.
You heard it here on the Toast to the Atypical.
Debunked.
So here's the crazy part. 1951... sold. Eldridge was just sold for scrap to Greece. Tore it apart, never to be seen again.
That's fishy. No boat pun intended, but that is fishy.
It was transferred to Greece in 51 and then sold for scrap.
That's like making a murderer level fishy.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but fishy.
Yeah.
All right.
This one it blew me away when I was reading.
I feel like we could have done an entire episode
because it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Everything they go into is pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
All right. So now that's like a conspiracy type deal, but
yeah, which will be a chunk of what we end up doing in general. But But our last little point.
While we're on conspiracies, though, do you want to look at the Centralia real quick?
Sure.
That's a quick one.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
So Centralia, because we don't want to make this too long, but Centralia, Pennsylvania, obviously, it's a borough that's near a ghost town in Columbia County, PA.
Yep.
Population went from like 1,000, 1,500, somewhere around there. In 1980 to 4 residents in 2020.
4 stubborn little assholes.
4 stubborn assholes who just refused to leave. So basically in 1962, a fire started in the coal mines up there, and it's been burning ever since.
So it started out as a trash dump fire.
Right.
And then...
Well, that's allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly. So there's some theories behind this. So the one is that there was a trash dump there, and firefighters would burn the trash to get rid of it.
That was the story that I heard of, like how it got started.
Right. There was also another one.
And then it spread underneath the ground to the coal mines, and then it's been burning ever since.
But they would do regular burnings of it, and the one theory is that the firefighters didn't put it out enough, extinguish it enough.
Isn't that kind
and it
of
kept
like
burning?
Their only
That's kind
job?
of their gig.
I mean, you have one job, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not one job. They
accidents
also
happen. Accidents happen.
They save cats from trees and shit like that.
The other theory is that a trash hauler dumped hot coals from like a fire pit or something like that.
But the theory is that it started in this trash dump.
Right.
Okay.
And then
that is definitely it definitely started in the trash dump. Yeah. But how it got started was the okay. Right. All right. So, that is what I heard. That it definitely was the trash dump.
So that's 2 of the theories. One is also this. It apparently started in 62, but there is a theory that it was actually a continuation of a fire from 1932.
That is another theory that I heard.
That just was continually burning.
And they just couldn't. They kept it under control enough, and then it just got too much. And
so there's weird stuff.
But 30 years though to it's finally bring it. No. Before you want to own up to it, I give it 3 hours, and if I don't have shit under control, I'm like, I messed up. Somebody help me. But 30 years is a long ass time to sweep some shit under the rug.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a long time.
So the fire's been burning there.
Especially
it's a
if your family lives
and
there.
There's some creepy lore around it too, just because it's a creepy feel in the town. Like there's steam coming out of the ground in some spots. It's just weird. The whole it's a ghost town. So that's what I was getting at. Silent Hill. The screenplay was actually written about Centralia.
Yep.
That came out in 2006.
Also, these scores are garbage.
Got a solid 32 on Rotten Tomatoes and 63 by the audience. I actually never saw Silent Hill.
It's good.
Yeah, I never saw it.
You would like it. We'll have to watch it.
So there's a conspiracy theory with Centralia.
Because there always is.
There always is. But this one actually, I feel like might have some merit to it because coal was a big thing.
Absolutely.
Then. Obviously, there were coal mines everywhere.
It was the
there
primary.
was actually one point that Pennsylvania was providing 75% of the worldwide coal. And
in like a year span or something, they made 75%, which was a total mind blown moment.
Yeah. So the conspiracy is that the U.S. government and private businesses purposely failed to extinguish the fire so that they can use eminent domain to reclaim the land from the residents and take the coal money.
Use it for the coal.
Because the coal money was apparently worth billions of dollars is what it was originally said, but now it's said that because of the rapid decline in the demand for coal, that billions is actually only worth like 290 million. And sorry, I'm dying over here.
That. Do you need me to help
I get a little choked up about this. It's a problem. No, it's worth about 290 million, and apparently that's not enough money for them to actually want to go through the trouble of mining it and everything, because what they would get out of it is not worth it. So it's kind of just a lost cause at this point.
Okay.
Weird.
That sucks.
It's a weird situation.
But I mean, I guess I get it.
Yeah. Weird. All right.
Okay.
On to the next. You have the next one, which is
we're gonna cap everything off now by talking about some of the supernatural in Pennsylvania. Now we're gonna stick to a little more local to us. We were born and bred in Philadelphia, or just outside of. We live in Percy, Upper Bucks area now. The most haunted city by report is Pittsburgh. It has the highest number of reported locations and reported sightings in any given year. So percentage-wise in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh has the highest reports every year.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's places in and around Pittsburgh, but I feel like that could just be an entire session in and of itself to talk about all the different things. So I'm going to focus a little more heavily on things that are commutable to us.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest ones in our area is the Eastern State Penitentiary,
Mm-hmm.
which we have been to.
Mm-hmm.
I've been for their Halloween haunt thing. Have you ever been to that?
I haven't.
I didn't go with you, but
No,
I've been.
Yeah, and you know what? Those ones I'm not really drawn, but I love supernatural stuff, paranormal stuff, but I'm not drawn to the stuff around Halloween.
Yeah.
Typically because
So I was really disappointed because So that's the one thing that I kind of hated is I went with a whole group of friends and we were all like, oh my gosh, we're going to the Eastern State Penitentiary. And it was so overly hyped. And in my head, I sort of had this picture of it being like a tour of it with the history and like the real life haunt. And it was just like I don't know, like a haunted hayride, haunted house.
Yeah,
like there were just dudes and chainsaws and like your
It was much
typical
cooler what we did
haunted stuff. So we went when we were dating and just did like a tour
Yonks
there
ago.
in a like a weird Tuesday afternoon. It was rainy.
Was it actually a Tuesday?
I don't know.
I was
Maybe.
going to say, you have weird memories. So.
I do. I feel like it might have been because I feel like Tuesday was like my short day at school for a bit there and it was like the easiest day to skip.
Yeah.
Anywho, it was like a rainy, gross day. We both decided that we were over classes and we just
I would never
stayed on the train and
would
did
never.
not go to our respective colleges and went to the Eastern State Penitentiary instead. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about, actually all of the things that I'm going to talk about, we saw personally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of the story that we got in there was obviously a little bit more PG. So some of this they really didn't talk about quite to the extent, but we saw every one of these cell blocks. And
I didn't look at any of your notes on this.
So the Eastern State Penitentiary was open for 142 years with an extensive history of suicide, reports of madness, disease, murder, torture.
Like that's in any prison.
This torture is intense. It's some of the stuff I read about and have seen is surprisingly inhumane, even for a prison. So one of the things that they did was called a water bath. So the inmates were dunked in water and then hung out on a wall in winter until ice formed on their skin.
Wow.
Yeah. They also had something called the mad chair. So it was not an electric chair, but something to that effect.
They would drip water on, no, is that water? No. Is that where they would drip water on you?
No.
Okay. All right.
So the mad chair was similar to a straitjacket, but on a chair. So it would bound the inmates basically until circulation was cut off. And in certain cases, the inmates actually ended up needing amputation because it was cut off for so long.
Holy crap.
And then they had something called the iron gag. And this one is...
I feel like I know what the iron mask
like
is.
Heartbreaking. It is... So it was an iron collar that went into the mouth and was strapped behind the head to the hands tied behind the back. So if you tried to move and tried to get out of it, there were like razors on the iron gag. Oh. And if you moved, it would cause the tongue to like tear and bleed profusely. Shit. Yeah. Awful. So, ugh. But then there was also the hole, which is what we saw, the solitary confinement hole that was underground.
Which is pretty standard to a prison. I feel like
but this was different. So yeah, solitary is usually like a separate cell wing. That's, to my understanding anyway, and I could be way off. I don't know a whole ton about prisons. But my understanding is that it's like an isolated wing that just has a cell with no other cells, no other human interaction really, like a door instead of the bars, whatever. So the hole was an underground cell. No light, no
Mhm.
human contact, no exercise, no toilet, and very little food or air. So
You just like
you would just like
do
poop in the
your
corner.
pants?
No, I think you would just like drop trowel and like
They give you
poop in the
TP?
corner. I don't think so.
Use a sock?
If they barely gave you food, I don't think they were giving you the luxury of toilet paper.
You wipe it on the wall?
And
Like,
all
what
like,
happens?
I don't know, if you cut off your
That'd be my
circulation in
biggest
your
fear.
arm well long enough, you couldn't feel that you had crap on
Oh.
it. So I guess you could do that too. So as you can imagine, with
concern.
all of these levels of torture and madness, there's a ton of reported supernatural activity
Mhm.
there and hauntings, both from inmates and guards who
Mhm.
were just haunted by the stuff that they were witness to and inflicted on their own. So some of the reported hauntings, or the more common ones anyway, are cell block 12 specifically is known for echoing voices and a cackling laughter.
Okay.
Cell block 6 is known for shadowy figures darting across the walls, which they think is the ghost of a previous prison guard who
I
would
was gonna
guard
say,
that
okay. I
wing.
remember that one.
Cell block 4 is known for visions of ghostly faces.
Yep.
Many people have reported seeing a silhouette of a guard in one of the towers, footsteps, wailing noises, whispers, like very similar stories over and over again that people are repeating, and there's a definite pattern. But one that really struck me was Gary Johnson. In the 1990s, he was somebody who would help the prison maintain the older locks. So they don't call him a locksmith specifically in the research that I've found, but that's the vibe I got, is that he's a locksmith. So he opened one of the older locks on cell block 4. And
4 is the one with the ghostly faces.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's coming up. So he was met by a force that gripped him so tightly that he was completely unable to move. He said it felt like he was in a bear hug. He could not move a muscle in his entire body. He said he felt this negative, horrible energy that exploded out of the cell the moment that he undid the lock.
Wow.
And as he was standing there, absolutely fixated, he saw these tormented faces come up on the walls of the cell. And one in particular called out to him directly. So he was like,
No way.
yeah,
I'm out.
yeah. So
I'm not putting in 2 weeks, dude. I'm gone. I'm gone.
well, I don't even
Can't
think
work anymore.
he wasn't even a guard or anything.
Don't
He would
care.
just come in and
No.
help out. So that was the one that really struck me with that. But there's a ton that we could talk about with Eastern State Penitentiary. That was a story that I wasn't as familiar with. And I feel like there's always, the paranormal shows on TV, and that's always a place that's talked about. But some of these things are just like the more specific.
Wow.
Yeah. Creepy.
Very
Definitely. So one other one, which I had heard about and I did not know, and another place that we've been, is the Penryn Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been there for 2 different weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a pretty popular wedding spot.
yeah, it is. So
That's the one. Is that the one right on the Delaware?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Rose and Stan and BJ and Kristen both got married there. So the Penryn Mansion was opened by Abraham Bickley III, who was a Philadelphia shipping businessman. He had multiple wives, 2 of whom were both
Good for
named
him.
Elizabeth. Well, not at the same time.
Oh.
Like died and then married more, but at least 2 of them
Good
were
for him.
named Elizabeth, and one of his daughters was also named Elizabeth. So like lots
kept
of
it easy.
confusion. Yeah.
You kept it simple.
I mean, maybe he was cheating, and if they all had the same name, it made
It's
it easier for a
It's
slip
easier,
up.
my dude.
Anyway, his one son, Robert, fell in love and married a woman who was known at the time to oppose British rule. So he
Okay.
was not happy. On
Okay.
Christmas Eve, Robert brings this wife home to the mansion to introduce her to his family. Abraham did not approve, and he forbade the woman from stepping foot in the house. Robert and Abraham get in this huge fight on Christmas Eve, and Robert storms out of the house, cursing Abraham and himself for being born a Bickley. He leaves the mansion, follows the path down to the river, and is just beside himself upset. He wades into the river on Christmas Eve, ends up in the current, and drowns. So
I've heard
now
this one.
his ghost appears quote, gaunt and slimy from the river every Christmas Eve, following the path to the house and taps on the windows and doors trying to reach his father.
Gaunt and slimy.
That's a direct quote.
Walking his pet squonch. Squonk.
Squonk.
Across the courtyard.
Maybe with Ape Boy tagging
with
along.
Ape Boy.
And there's another ghost. So the second ghost that's said to haunt the mansion grounds is that of one of Robert's wives, the so-called Lady in Black. She is this is Robert's wife, not one of Abraham's wives. This is Robert's wife, the woman who was not accepted.
Okay.
She is called Lady in Black. She is in despair for not being accepted by the Bickley family, and she is seen riding a large black horse in the area of the crypt on the premises.
Okay.
And some reports she'll scream, and she often is depicted wearing a cape and carrying a whip. And if she sees you, she will spur the horse and pass through you and then disappear into the woods. Like if she spots you, the theory is that if she sees you on the grounds, she assumes that you are the father.
Okay.
In the distance, and she'll just run for you and then disappear into the woods. Wow. Can you imagine, like, seeing this gigantic black horse and this lady with a whip coming at you?
Wow.
I would crap my pants.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't. So, I mean, on those two, when we were at Penrith, I mean, obviously it was a different setting. We were there for a wedding.
Right. And these both seem to be like around Christmas time that this happens.
Okay.
Because
you don't get
of
that.
the
I mean,
situation.
at least I didn't get that, like, dark, deep feeling.
But like mansions versus like typical wedding venues, like something that was like somebody's house, I always have that weird ominous feeling.
Yeah.
They never feel like wedding venues to me. They always feel like you're in your grandma's house with like the plastic on the furniture and you're not supposed to touch anything. I always feel like an intruder.
A glass jar of butterscotch candies sitting on the table.
And a tin can of those butter cookies that doesn't actually contain the cookies. It's like a sewing kit or something in there.
Yep, always. The one with the shape like a little pretzel. Yes. Yeah, the blue can with like the gold right.
And it's never got cookies in it.
Never. It's always something else.
In my house, it was a sewing kit.
Yeah, sewing kit. Pop Jim, I have one of his out in the garage, actually.
Do you really?
It's got all like electrical plugs in it. Like stuff that if I plugged in, it would burst into flames.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
it's old. Probably corroded as hell.
They're old.
It would be like what I would imagine I would keep like batteries and shit in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's a good
Nothing
thing.
like keeping batteries in a metal container, you know?
Are you not supposed to do that?
I feel like it's like a positive and negative. I feel like
I don't think that they're going to burst into flames.
I just think it's a bad idea.
And then the one other bit of Supernatural we have here is the Bale-Roy Mansion. Did you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, I mean, since you mentioned it was just a quick one.
I thought this was cool.
Bale-Roy Mansion, I guess.
I thought it was Bale-Roy.
So it's in Chestnut Hill. A ton of history in Chestnut Hill.
Yes. There's a ton of history in like Philadelphia, Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Just in our area in general.
Is completely different.
That's going to be an entire episode.
We should actually do something. We should go to Gettysburg.
Would love that.
Are
you kidding? Give me all the haunted shit.
So the Bale-Roy Mansion was built in 1911. It's actually known as one of the most haunted houses in the country.
Yep.
And there's an old armchair in there. That apparently belonged to Napoleon Bonaparte. And 4 people who sat in the chair died.
Yep.
Dead.
So
they just immediately died. And then the house's owner banned anyone from sitting in it. Here's my thing, though. Why don't you just burn that bitch? Get rid of it.
I don't know. You're like releasing all that bad juju. At least this way it's contained. It's probably the same reason they don't burn Annabelle.
I was just going to say, call up
I don't want that shit airborne.
Get this out of here.
I don't want that shit airborne. No way.
Get it out of here.
At least this way I know where it is.
The Warrens would take it.
Put Annabelle in it.
Well, Warren, she's still alive, right?
I don't know.
I don't know if she's still alive.
Lorraine.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, though.
So here's what I want to know, though. Like, how does a chair from Napoleon Bonaparte end up in Chestnut Hill, Pennsylvania?
I don't know, dude. Maybe some rando bought it. Rando. I don't know. I feel like people I feel like, I don't know if this is just like a countrywide thing, but I feel like people in Pennsylvania just buy shit to say that they have it.
I think
I
that's
guess
just
it's a
true
thing,
of everywhere.
but
People just have shit.
Like, why?
I don't know. People buy like wads of chewing gum that a celebrity spit out on the side of the road because they can.
Gross.
Like,
so going back though, real quick, because I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
The Eastern State Penitentiary thing.
Yes.
How much of that do you think is actually just like knowing how much torture was going on there?
Mm-hmm. Like
the guards just being like internally tortured by what they're doing to these people.
Right. So that's what I was saying. They think that the cell block
4, the
6,
one with the, okay.
I believe. Hold up.
It's still in orange.
Yeah, cell block 6 is known for shadowy figures darting along the walls. And one of the theories is that this cell block 6 area, there were several guards who were not on board with the torture and some of the things that they were witnessing and experiencing. And in order to get away from it, to not be drawn into it, they would sort of like dart in the shadows and like get away from things. And they're still trying to hide from some of the things that they saw.
Gotcha.
But there are the theory about like the guards that still live there are like the ones that like they've become the demons that they had basically, and they could never escape that, and they were never at peace.
Okay.
So now they're spending their lives.
So they torture.
Exactly. So they're spending their afterlife basically looking for ways to escape the damage that they did, but I don't know that they ever could because it's closed. I mean, there's no way to repent for that. Like, it's not like they could ever right the wrongs.
Right.
So they say that some of the more, not like benevolent, but like lesser evil, not that they're outright like good spirits, but the ones that are just kind of there, are the ones of the guards that are tortured by what they've done and what they've witnessed and what they've been kind of dragged into.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we should cut it off there because this has been quite a long one. It wasn't really. I didn't think we were going to be this long on this one.
No.
Hopefully you stuck with us because I think it was some pretty cool stuff.
It was.
Hopefully you stuck with us. But as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check us out on our Instagram, A Toast to the Atypical. You can email us. We would love for you to email us.
Please,
with topics, with comments, with questions.
Anything.
Personal experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have like a comment about something that we've talked about, good, bad, indifferent, just let us know you're out there. We'll give you a little shout out. We're super interested in who this is reaching. If you guys have any ideas of like the things that you would like to hear, we would love
we have a ton
ideas.
Of episodes ready,
we have a billion topics we could,
but we would definitely love your input and see if we can get some of those.
And if we get like somebody saying like, oh, I would love to hear about blah blah blah, and it's a topic that is on our very extensive list, we'll bump it to the top and try to get you guys what you want to hear. So,
so email us. It's up again. All the links to everything is going to be down in the description.
Yep.
But the email is a toast to the atypical. The number 2 at Gmail, because I don't know what people did before Gmail. I mean, they paid for AOL, I guess.
I forgot that you had to pay for AOL.
Yeah. YouTube. Maybe that's where you're watching us now. I don't know. Maybe you're seeing us on Spotify. I don't know. YouTube channel is A Toast to the Atypical. Subscribe, like the page, the whole deal. Make sure you hit the notification bell too. We're going to upload every Tuesday.
Yep.
And then we have a phone number, a hotline, so you can call us, leave us messages. Our hotline. What was it? What was the
Drake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hotline Blink.
Hotline Blink.
No, don't.
267-450-9444.
If you're gonna do it, you gotta do the dance.
I ain't doing any dance. 267-450-9448.
Yes. Please.
Again, that's down below.
And that's
call us.
Call, text.
Yeah.
Voicemails set up on there. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And subscribe, like, thank you for listening.
That's what we have for now.
That's all.
So thank you so much for dealing with us. I'm just going to bang my glass into everything, I think. I'll try not to spill it.
It was me last time, so it might as well be you this time.
But a toast to the atypical for this week.